Good evening and welcome to a very special edition of my chats with the Bookies Foe. And tonight, as promised, is our Dublin Racing Festival preview and a special head-to-head battle. Are you excited about this?
Let's crack on. Looking forward to this, yeah. It's going to be a blinding weekend. Really is, Pen.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. So we're going to start with a little bit of a preview. So let's have some track talk.
Grand. So Leopardstown, it's obviously a flat track. It is considered a speed track. It does have a very long run-in, quite a long run-in. So sometimes it takes a bit more getting than what people think. But quite often, and just anyone out there that's quite new to backing horses or whatever, the form doesn't translate to Cheltenham very much. Now, obviously, it's not completely unheard of, but it's a different track to Cheltenham. And, you know, what a lot of people would do is they find horses winning grade ones here, and then they go and back them for Cheltenham. And, you know, a lot of the time they can let them down. So to give some novices out there a bit of an idea, the form doesn't always translate to Cheltenham. So it's a different type of horse you want for winning around Leopardstown Pen than you would for Cheltenham.
Well, that's good advice. Yeah, great. And how's the ground looking, do you think?
The ground is okay. So we've had little or no rain since Christmas. Which is phenomenal, like really is. It's currently bucketing down outside.
Yeah, here too.
I'm in Dublin, so it's raining heavy as we speak. And they've been watering all week as well. So I think 160 mil has been put on since Sunday night.
So is it going to make a big difference?
Well, it would do, and it should do, and it could do. But Leopardstown is one of the quickest draining tracks in Europe, I believe. So, you know, anyone that's going to wake up on Saturday morning and do a lucky 15, for instance, before racing starts, you know, that's just madness. That's bonkers. You know, if you want to have a leisurely bet and you're quite happy to lose your money, yeah, by all means, go and do that. But if you're serious about making profit over these 2 days, watch the first two races, how they be very, very careful with your bets. The first two races, look at the horses that are winning, look at the winning times, and then that should give you an idea of what type of horses to be backing.
Okay.
Over the 2 days. So
that's really good advice. Definitely think that's something I'll have to be looking at doing.
Yeah.
So who's hot and who's not?
So again, another very important factor is what trainers are in form and what trainers are not in form. And you know, people always have their favorite trainers and quite often come along and just start backing them blind and not checking what sort of strike rates they have. And you can sort of gauge a trainer's performance if you look back over the last 2 weeks and what sort of a winning strike rate they have. And I have, and it's not black and white, it's not gospel, it's not a Bible to go by, but it's useful information to know before you start backing horses in these festivals.
Yeah.
Willie Mullins is flying. He's as per normal. He had a slow enough start to the season, as we know, but he's really, really in top gear now. He's on just under 29% strike rate. Joey O'Brien has been quiet for a long time, flat season and national hunt, but he really has it together now. He's at 24% strike rate there at the minute. His horses seem to be in great order. And Paul Nolan. Now, Paul mightn't have as many runners as the other two over the 2 days, but you'd want to be very confident about backing any of his if you like their form, because they're in fine fettle as well.
Mm.
But I'll give you a few now just to be careful of. So the following trainers, just be very careful with these because they're not really firing. Henry de Bromhead, 7%. He's really struggling to find any sort of winner at all. So now they are eventually going to turn a corner, and I think he'll probably have them cherry ripe for the spring festivals. But just at the minute, don't seem to be going too well. Noel Mead is another one to be very careful of. Doesn't seem to be, his horses don't seem to be running too well. We've Paul Nichols bringing a few over from UK, and Paul's horses are running stink, really not. So on top of that, you have the fact that they have to travel over, and a lot of
Yeah.
horses don't like, traveling, and it can take it out of them. So the reason I'm saying that, a lot of Paul's are short prices, Paul Nichols horses over the 2 days, and the few he has over. So very cautious backing any of his.
Okay.
And then just one there, Mouse Morris's horses don't seem to be doing too great at the minute either. So look, like I said, it's not black and white, it's not a gospel, but it's handy information to have
Yeah,
before you
definitely.
start choosing your horses. Yeah.
So we come on to our little head-to-head competition.
Yeah, there should be a bit of crack now.
Now, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So, as I said, be kind.
Absolutely.
I may not have made all the right choices, but again, it's a great learning curve for me as well. I think the first few categories I might be okay. We shall see what you think. So here are our owner selections.
Very good. Yeah, you've picked probably the best one out there. JT, that's probably the biggest supporter of National Hunt racing out there. And he fancied now to have a few winners over the 2 days, so wouldn't put you off him.
Good, thank you. And you're quite happy with your choice?
Jigginstown usually do well at these festivals. I'm confident now for them to have a few winners. So
great.
Yep.
Okay, so we move over to our trainer selections, and two that you have already mentioned in your Who's Hot category.
Yeah. Like, I'm delighted. I'm happy enough to follow Joey over the 2 days. I'm confident enough we'll get some value out of him, and I'm sure he's very confident of having a decent couple of days. And of course, you've Willie there, and you don't need to explain anything about Willie. So.
Nope, not with that strike rate. Okay, so, and our jockey selections, again, a little bit of a battle of the sexes perhaps between me and you, but we've both got two excellent jockeys.
Yeah. So I'm sure you'll give me a run for my money at the very least. Being as well, giving you a 5-point lead as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about my 5 points. Thank you.
Rachel is, again, there's no need to introduce these two jockeys. They'll be as the winners between the two of them over the 2 days.
Yep. Right. Oh, here we go with the horses now.
Right.
So these are our bankers.
Yeah.
So your first one for Saturday's Blue Lord.
Yeah.
And
so at the minute, 7-4. So I think that's a very decent price for him. I think he's up against a bunch of 5-year-olds. And I think the way he's improved over fences, he's ran well at Leopardstown before, and I think it's a really nice price, 7-4. I'm happy enough with that.
Yeah. Great. And then on Sunday you've got Sigurd. There we go.
Yeah. I think he will take all the beating in that race. I just think he's really high cruising speed, and at Leopardstown he'd probably go off prominent enough. And another thing I forgot to mention about Leopardstown, it would, to be prominent enough would probably help you, I think. And I think that's a decent enough price as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Here's mine.
Come on then, let's have a look at these.
So There we go. As my Saturday choice.
So
Moving out of town.
so she's gone up against Blue Lord, isn't she?
Mm.
Like for any reason, if Blue Lord doesn't show up, she should then win very easily. You know, she's getting the mare's allowance as well, so she's a few pounds there. I know she failed to beat Fernie Hollow with that allowance, but think I think she'll give Blue Lord more than a few things to think about anyway, you know. So
Well, let's hope so.
very talented mare.
There we go. So I've got to appreciate it on Sunday.
4-1. That might turn out to be a nice price because, like we said, Henry's horses aren't running great. So for any reason, Honey isn't 100%. You have appreciated that might look like a big price. That could very much look like a big price. If Honey is on an off day. I know she's unbeaten, but just be thinking about Henry's horses, you know. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't put you off them at all. Yeah, this is going to be close. I think I've given you too much of a head start, Pen. I think
you'll be taking those 5 points back off me by the end of this, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so we'll move on to our next bests, and you've got It's What Unites Us.
Yeah, I just from the whispers I've heard about him in the bumper, I think that may be a big price, 9-2. Very, very highly thought of and was very impressive. The last day, you know, so with bumper horses, you can never be sure. They've only had 1 or 2 runs between them, and I think that might be a decent enough price. So.
Okay, and Sunday you've got Captain Guinness.
I just don't. I hope there isn't too much juice in the ground. If we can get really nice ground on Sunday, I think he's going to give them. I think he's going to give them a right run for it. I'm not convinced with Shakin Persois. And Captain Guinness, for me, his action, he's a speed horse, nice quick ground, his jumping's coming together. I think he'll give them plenty to think about. And
well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have Ken Boy on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, he's currently favourite for the Gold Cup, isn't he? And I think he's a worthy favourite on his Leopardstown form. Always turns up at Leopardstown, but what you won't want, Pen, you won't want a lot of rain for him. He's another top of the ground horse.
Yeah.
You'll want it nice and decent, and he'd probably bowl along on the front end, and it'll be like catch me if you can. But you'd expect a decent run from him, definitely. Yeah.
Good. And then Sunday, El Fabiolo.
What price did you get on him?
Oh, there it is. 5-1.
Again, that may look very big. He was very impressive the last day. I think it was Tremor, was it? He ran and he absolutely jumped around like a bunny. And he looked like he's plenty of ability. And that may look like a very big price from Sunday. So yeah, I'm impressed with your selections, man.
Oh,
impressed with your selections.
Okay, outsiders.
Okay.
So you got Delta Work on Saturday.
Yeah, like I can't believe he's this price. I can't believe he's this price. I really can't. If you look at his form, you can there's a bit of a pattern forming with his form, and he's ran well at Leopardstown before. I just want to bring him up there. Where is it? On Sunday, it is? No.
Saturday.
Sorry, now bear with me 1 second. Did he win this race last year? Oh, what is wrong? Sorry, now. I think he won this race last year, Pen. Irish Gold Cup. No, he didn't. It was Ken Boy. Ken Boy won it last year.
Okay.
But he's had some below par runs, right? But a lot of that falls into the period of when Denise Foster was training Gordon's horses, right? He's at the right age now. He's a decent record at Leopardstown. He can run on soft ground and good ground, and he's actually beaten Ken Boy at Leopardstown. And last year, did he run in this? He was third in this Ken Boy last year, but again, that was a strange period. His last 5 or 6 runs where Denise was there, and I think he's underestimated for this. I really, really do. I know
It's a nice price.
He was disappointing on Stevens's day, but he didn't jump well that day. But I just have a feeling he's underestimated here. I think he's gonna get back to.
Be interesting to see. And there's your Sunday selection.
Galliard de Menil massively overpriced. I think at 25 to 1. Now, in fairness, he has been disappointing this season. But there's something strange. Like, remember, Willie had a slow start to the season. He really did, and a lot of his horses were running below par at the start. And his 2 runs, Galliard de Menil, have been very, very bad. Probably too bad to be true in actual fact. And he won at this meeting last year, and he beat Gentleman's Game by 5 lengths. Now, I know it was a hurdle, but I just think he's gonna start hitting form now. I just think it was more down to Willie's slow start to the season, and possibly Galliard de Menil needing these runs, and I'm just hoping that we're going to see a much better performance. Like, he's 2 from 2 at Leopardstown. He's ran twice and won twice, and this time last year against Gentleman's Game, he won quite easily. And he's no problem with, if the rain does get in, he'll have absolutely no problem with that. I think he's very underestimated for this, because he's been disappointing this season, but he's been jumping sort of okay. There hasn't been anything alarming about his jumping. Over 2.5 miles on soft enough ground. We'll give him plenty of time to get into this. I think it's a tough race for him, but at 25s, he's massively overpriced. Massively.
Yeah. It's going to be a good watch, that one, I think, is it? Definitely, to see how he gets on. So my Saturday is Janadil. At 14 to 1.
Again, he's a horse that is shown a lot of promise. Possibly the last day he may have been a non-stayer, and this is the Gold Cup you've selected him for, isn't it? If he can get the trip, I think that's a nice price you have about him.
Yeah.
We know the owner very well, and the trainer very well, and Mark Walsh on board. Can't go much wrong with him. I just think maybe the last day he didn't get home, but it might have been something to do with Willie's slow start to the season again. So look, yeah, you might be all right there.
Worth a go.
Price. Yeah.
And then Sam Crow on Sunday, 33 to 1.
Fair play to you. There's a leap of faith.
Well, yeah, I thought I'd, definitely take a leap of faith with this one.
Well, Sam Crow once had a reputation very similar to what Bob Ollinger has right now. He was considered one of the best horses in training at one stage. He was known as the Red Aeroplane. So, don't discount him at all.
No.
If he's on his, which one is that? Is that the Dublin Chase? I think it is. I mean, the step back to 2 miles is what he might be, which might be the making of him.
Yeah.
He won't mind a bit of dig. He's he's run on decent ground. He won't mind a bit of dig either. I think there's a few horses in this that are like Grenadine. It'd worry me because of Paul Nicholls' form. Dunvegan needs to go right-handed. Can't have Shakin Persois. He was too bad to be true the last day. I think Cashback is 10 years of age. And then you have Sky Pirate, who's a handicapper. Hardline's just not good enough. And it's like all of a sudden, hold on a minute. Yeah, I think that could be a cracking bet, 33-1. There's worse, far worse outsiders running over the weekend than Sambrico.
Well, that's good to know.
I tell you, if he turned up and won this race, there wouldn't be a dry eye. Because he captured a lot of people's hearts when he was a novice hurdler, so they'd be delighted for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be very delighted for him as well.
Yeah.
So the last bit is the late of the festival.
Yeah.
As you can see.
So I've gone for the juvenile Vauban. Very, very careful backing juveniles because they can improve so quickly, but they can also regress very, very quickly. And the form sometimes doesn't make sense, and they only have a few runs to their name and whatever. But I looked at all these juveniles visually in the races, and he certainly didn't blow me away at all. I'm quite happy to put him as a lay. Yeah, I like McManus's horse in that race anyway. Icar Allen or whatever his name is. So
I've chosen Blue Lord.
Yeah, like he's been well backed and he's very well fancied. And River to Tell. Well, you've actually chosen River to Tell as one of your selections as well. So if he isn't on a going day, River to Tell will be there to pick up the pieces. But I think he's a good chance, Blue Lord. But sure, you never know. I'm actually quite scared now. I think I've given you too much of a head start time.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll have a look at how it's going to be. The points are going to work.
Yeah.
So we're getting 1 point for every winner for the owners.
Yeah.
Trainers the same, 1 point for every winner, and the jockeys 1 point every winner. For the banker has to win, and that's 2 points.
Yeah.
Next best is 3 points for a winner, 1 point for a place. Outside are 5 points for a winner, 2 points for a place.
Yes.
And then late of the festival will be 3 points if it loses.
Yes.
So there's going to be
a bit of fun.
It is a great bit of fun and a bit of adding up to do come Sunday evening for us to work it all out. So a nice little chart ready to stick all our points in, and then on our next Cheltenham Anti-Post video Monday night, we will reveal.
We'll crown you as the champion, will we? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You never know.
We will be somehow.
So, well, may the best person win.
Indeed.
Either way, it's a good laugh. It's a bit of fun, and we're going to really enjoy the weekend. So,
and hopefully we can make a few quid. And if we do half as good as we did last year, we'll be laughing.
Yes, perfect.
Indeed.
All right. Well, I will catch up with you on Saturday.
Okay, Pen. Have a good weekend. Best of luck.
You too. Lots of luck. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.